Hi, I'm Nicholas Principe from Vaughan, Ontario, Canada, and you're listening to the Pro Hockey News Podcast.
Welcome in to the end of a season edition of the Pro Hockey News Podcast. It's a mixed line edition. The doctor's in the house. Lou Lafredo is here. Adam, Richard, our producer extraordinaire. Nick, the intern, he's here taking video snips and making sure people's errors are put out on video and sent to everybody. Snarky Canadian and the dude up in Minnesota, MIA. So we're 4/6 of the way to a full edition, Richard.
I tried.
You did try, but you failed.
I didn't
And you have
say
to live with that.
I do. I have to live with a lot of failures, but this one probably hurts the most.
Does it? This one hurts a lot?
Yeah.
Well,
Sure.
to make it better, you could probably go to mycustomsportschair.com and get a chair with your face on it. And then, somebody could sit on it and cozy up to you and feel like they're there. So mycustomsportschair.com, page 73 is the code. Get it with all your favorite logos or Richard's face. Once again, if somebody gets one with Richard's face and sends us pictures, there could be prizes. There could be PHN swag in it for you. I want a Richard Cote My Custom Sports Chair. A year I've been trying for this now.
I think you're the only one who wants this.
Well, apparently. I figured, figured somebody would want it, but no, they do not. They do not.
Nope.
Well, we are recording this on draft night. It's Friday the 27th. In the Florida Panthers world, it is hangover day number 3. I think the drunkenness ended 3 days ago, and now they're on hangover day 3. But they are partying all over Florida, and they just got good news. Literally great news as we were starting this recording. So we're just going to start there. Let's stay in the Sunshine State. Sam Bennett signs one of the final 8x8 deals in the history of the NHL. No surprise he's staying. 8x8, boys. Sam Bennett, the core is continuing in Florida.
This was a must-have. This was something that they had to get done. We knew it was going to get done. And I think I even said this last week that I was predicting an 8-year, $8 million contract. I'm surprised it actually came true because I predicted it.
Well, congratulations on being right for once.
I know, right? I'm so surprised.
And let's add another one to the list. Noah Dobson is now a Canadian, and he's signing an 8-year deal for $9.5 million.
Oof.
So trade retained because with the status he has, he can get the extra year. John Tavares signed a 4x4, I believe, is what it was today. With deferments, 4x4.38 with deferments in his deal. So why did I bring this up immediately? And let's add in Trent Frederick to Edmonton with an 8x4. So why do I bring this up right off the hop of the 8 years and also the deferment? Because really, 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 really early, we have this weird thing in the NHL and the NHLPA. They agreed to a 4-year CBA extension with things changing next year. Two of the biggest things changing in terms of player contracts, no longer can do an 8-year. It's a 7-year deal as the max. For other free agents, it's 6. So instead of 8 and 7 goes to 7 and 6. And no longer can you do deferred payments.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 3 8-year contracts signed today. We have a certain player that may or may not want an 8-year contract wearing number 97 up there in Edmonton that now the clock is ticking on does he do it or does he not. I think out of the CBA, we're going to go to 84 games, drop the preseason in half. We'll see how they do the scheduling. I am good with 84 games. We'll get to that in a second if they do the scheduling right. But I think the biggest thing coming out of this, guys, is taking away the 8th year of the player getting their contract.
That's going to make it a lot harder for retention and building well, maybe not a lot harder, but it's gonna make it harder to retain your core players, to build around them, and to get that successful club you're looking for if you're not showing progress. Because that player's not going to want to stay to the full 7 years if you're not showing that progress.
Yeah, but does it I mean if you're lowering 7 to 6, doesn't lowering 8 to 7 do the same thing? I think it just gives us a little more drama because now I think it allows for even somebody, a young player, to sign their RFA 8 year, come out of it at potentially 32, 33, and still have one more contract. Versus
Oh, I
now,
mean,
guys, that's 7 years. You can have a guy at 31 come out of his 7 year deal.
this is what I was talking about is harder for the team. It's gonna be harder for the GMs to keep that core together. Players, I think this is a fantastic deal for them because you're not going to be tied down if you need to potentially move somewhere else. You're not going to be tied down as long. And going as a free agent, you know, I don't know. Maybe you do want that guaranteed money or guaranteed time.
Yep. So, what do you think? Let's go right to Connor McDavid. So, if he doesn't sign for 8, he can never sign for 8 again. He's 28 years old. Does he want that final contract? Or is he going to try to find that 3 or 4 year deal, bet on himself with the cap going up, get that 31, 32-year-old contract? Lou, what do you think?
Well, I've never been a fan of the 8 year anyway for both sides, but particularly at the franchise level. What do you do with the dead weight that just sort of fizzles out in years 4 and 5? Now you're saddled with that contract. I like it being dropped to 7. That's okay with me as in terms of McDavid. Um, I somebody has to start thinking about whether or not he can. I know this is heresy. Whether or not he can carry the team to a Stanley Cup. And I don't know that I would want to give him 7 or 8 years. This is a business. Um, Give him 4 and make him play into the next 4 year deal, which gives him the 8.
Yeah, it's jumping in late as the snarky Canadian Jacob has joined us. So we're 5-6. Richard, your odds have improved. You've done your job. I give you credit.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for giving
Yes.
me credit.
Yes. So you could erase the first like 2 minutes of what I said. But you won't. You won't.
I won't.
It's up to
So,
Nick.
yeah, I mean, I think the owners wanted less than 8 because I think they were the ones feeling pressured to give an 8th year. I think that going down to 7 and 6, great. I think it's good. Salary cap's going up. I mean, you're basically going to have 2 big contracts a career now for your prime players is what it does by shortening for a year. But yeah, I mentioned I think McDavid goes 3 or 4 years only because I think he wants to test the team more than himself and to make sure that they're all in it to win it. Draisaitl has 4 years left on his after this season. So when McDavid's a UFA after this season, if he doesn't sign early, why wouldn't he sign a 4 year deal and basically have him and Draisaitl line up together? And then when he hits his 32, 33 year, he'll still be probably amazing at 32, 33 for McDavid. Then he could choose what he wants to do. So that's how I look at it. Line up with. I mean, like I said, Draisaitl signed for 8, but like those first 4, essentially, I think is what you've got to look at for Draisaitl's contract and value and type of player. So, and like I said, they're already making moves. And Edmonton's already making moves with Trent Frederick signing his long-term extension, trading away Evander Kane. So, I think they're responding to what McDavid wants. Now the question is how long is he going to commit to them? But I fully expect him to sign an extension before the season. I think it's just how long.
Do you think he'll be the? I mean, do you think he'll be the final 8 year,
No, I think he's going to go 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think he wants the franchise to prove that they can win. Now, if they win a cup in the next few years, I think then, yeah, re-up for life type thing. But if I'm him, I'm not. I'm only signing 3 or 4 years. He's that rare bird that at 32 years old can command a prime contract, where most guys after 28 aren't getting a prime contract.
But if you're the Oilers, though, why would you give him a 4 year contract? The from an organization perspective, they want to keep him as long as possible.
Yeah, but after 4 years, if you have to blow up the whole thing, then you're not on the hook for the money.
Yeah, but if you have to blow up the entire thing after that, then you can use Connor McDavid's value as a trade piece in order to get more draft picks. Because, you said, at 32, he's going to be still a hell of a player. So, from the organization's perspective, they want to keep him as long as possible, and they're going to throw all the money at it.
Right, but if you're going to throw all the money at it and it doesn't work out, you're going to have to eat some of that money, and I guarantee you he's going to have a full no movement clause. And we've seen this when you have a full no movement clause and you want to move, the team that trades you doesn't get the value back and also eats your money.
Exactly.
So if I'm Edmonton, I'm good with a 3-4 year deal because I'm betting. If you're Edmonton, also bet on yourselves that you're going to have a great run and he's going to want to stay for the duration of his career. So it works out best for both sides.
I just think there'd be a lot of panic, especially from the front office, because you know how often we go through GMs and coaches and everything here. And the media here is also just fanatical, similar to, I guess it's the same for all Canadian markets, except for Ottawa, for that matter. It's all these teams, especially if you have a generational player like an Austin Matthews or Connor McDavid, if he signs for less than 8 years, it is a big concern for those teams.
I don't disagree, but if he signs for 8 years, it doesn't guarantee success.
Which is my point. And Jacob and I have gone around and around about this for how long, Jacob?
Since I joined the podcast, really.
Yeah. I mean, this is 2 trips to the Stanley Cup, and from my estimation, he disappears.
No,
you can say whatever you want.
He gets interfered. The rules,
but you
don't matter.
Right, but you have to play through it. Last year, this year, I mean, it was just if I'm the Oilers, the most I'm going to offer him at 3 to 4, because Adam, you're saying who's betting on whom. I think the Oilers have to ask themselves, is this the guy to carry them to the promised land?
Let me clarify. If I'm the Oilers, I'm offering him an 8x14 or an 8x. Like I'm throwing everything at him. If I'm the Oilers, but I am not extending him. If he comes back and wants 3, and then we can settle at 4 or 5, I'm not losing the player and not doing an early extension to not get the. But no, I'm going to offer him the 8. Like my starting is going to be like 8x14 or 13. Draisaitl's what, a 12.5 or 13.5, so he's going to get more than Draisaitl's at 14.
Draisaitl's at 14, right. Yeah.
So you go 14 to 16, 15 to 17. Sorry, for McDavid, 8 years. That's what I'm starting with. But if he wants more money, if I have to keep him at 18, 19, I'm okay going down to 4 years. But I'm definitely going to try to offer him the 8. But once again, you're going to come with a no movement clause. He's already got one. He's not going to give that up. And that's the new popcorn. And that's something that, they didn't get that in the CBA, but there was no way the players were going to do on that. So, I mean, like I said, I think the big question is Connor McDavid the last ever 8-year contract that we're going to see? That's what it comes down to now. That's the clock ticking for him for the early resigning come July 1st is, will he get 8 years? Because I think we're done with the 8-year contract as of next year. And there's not many players out there like Marner's not going to do the 8. He's going to do a 7 somewhere. That is not Toronto. Because he can't, and he's going to be he could be the last, 7-year contract for changing teams. But yeah, this new CBA, give the league credit, give the players credit. 14 months before it expires, and we've already got a CBA and everything. And it happened quickly and quietly, and then it just happened.
Yep.
Talk about the other piece of the CBA. So we're going to 84 games and less preseason games. Does anybody have any strong feelings about adding 2 regular season games?
It doesn't make me happy as a stats person because we've had 82 games for so long. So it's like the NFL, because in the NFL recently, all the records just keep getting broken and broken and broken and broken because they keep adding more and more games to the regular season. So you see higher stats and higher numbers and higher sacks, higher yards for everyone. It's just, I hope they cap it at some point, because I don't want to see it go past this at this point. It's just because in the preseason, you're not playing your full roster. You're not even playing close to your full roster. Whereas in the regular season, you are. So I don't know. I'm just not. When I see in the playoffs, teams that are just playing hurt just constantly, I don't think adding 2 more games is going to help, personally.
I like it for the reasoning that they gave, which was to even out the number of games you play across all divisional opponents. So if they are able to schedule it correctly, this is a much more fair balance between out of divisional play, out of conference play, and then within your own division. So I like it for that. So I really have no problems. 2 games, I don't think it's enough to really make me outraged as far as like stats go. Because when you talk about like the big records, it's going to be like your career records, your goals in your career, points in your career, which the points is never going to get broken. Um, as far as a single season, I mean, eventually all these 82 game records were going to be broken at some point. 2 more games is not adding too much more to that.
I'm just saying if they continue the trend.
I don't
Yeah.
think they will. Right now, you have 4 pregame seasons or pregame games, preseason games. Let me get my words in the correct order here. You have 4 preseason games under this new agreement, which I'm great with. I never really cared too much for preseason, be it hockey or football. It just never interested me as a fan. Um, so yeah, tack on the extra couple of games in the regular season. You're not adding too much more stress on the roster.
Yeah, so I assume now we're going to see 6 games versus every divisional opponent is what's going to happen with this. I'm all for anything that adds interdivisional games. If they're going to keep the playoffs where 1, 4, 2, 3 within your own division and for the first 2 rounds essentially, then to me you need to max out A, rivalries, and B, the amount of divisional games you score points in. If that truly determines playoff seeding, not the 1 through 8 that many of us want, if you're going to add games, it better be interdivisional games. So, if 6 games versus your 7 divisional opponents, 42, I mean, that's if half your schedule is against your division, exactly, I am all for it. And I believe supposedly that's what's supposed to do, that you're going to play 6 every game instead of 5 or 6 versus your divisional opponents is the way it's kind of been. Because you play 2 or 3 versus the other division.
That was the reasoning I saw behind this. So I'm all for that.
Yeah, no, you guys convinced me. I wasn't really hard against it. It was kind of just like that's a small nitpick for me, but no, I agree. More interdivisional games is great.
Yeah. I am upset about one thing in this new CBA. They've added a traveling emergency goaltender to every team. We're losing
Yeah.
the e-bug.
No, they're so fun.
They make
Mhm.
great stories.
Exactly.
It's so fun. No other
Yep.
sport. In
Like,
no
we're-
other sport. Oh,
So we're no longer going to see a guy employed by Toronto wearing Toronto Maple Leafs pads playing against Ottawa. We're not going to see a Zamboni driver dress for Carolina and go 13 for 13 or whatever it was. Content. We're in the content business, and they were taking away content.
I know. Makes me sad.
It's very sad. Very sad. How about the fact they kept the hard cap, which the NBA owners are jealous of?
oh, thank God.
50-50 split kept, which is high. I mean, in all the sports. And they're going to get more funds from the playoffs. The player percentage goes up.
Mm-hmm.
So for all that the NHL does on marketing and the ratings issues that we've seen, financially, they're obviously doing pretty damn well if they're giving players more money.
Which is good. I'm happy. I mean, I think everyone here is happy that the sport is growing. I mean, it could be growing more, but it's clearly growing.
Well, if the Canadian dollar was better, it would grow more. It's your guys' fault.
Oh yeah, it's our fault.
It is.
Yeah, totally.
It is. I mean, you can't keep your dollar in a value. You run places like Toronto run star players out of town.
Okay, yeah, that's a Toronto fault. Okay,
That's
Toronto. You know,
Well,
every other team's fine for the most part.
Nicholas, rebuttal.
I don't have one.
Oh, everything's fine out west. Yeah, I mean, Vancouver's really holding up their end of the bargain of a great team.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
okay. You have to lower your expectations with teams like Vancouver, Calgary, Winnipeg, Ottawa, like
So,
So
everybody
all
besides
every
besides
Canadian
Edmonton.
team except Toronto and Edmonton.
and Montreal,
Who has expectations in Montreal besides the Frenchies?
the Frenchies.
Yeah, the rest of Canada wants them to fail miserably and potentially not be part of their country.
Damn right.
No, it's the French. It's the French who don't want to be part of the
That's what I'm saying. Well, the rest of you may not want them
They're
either.
crazy. No,
Ah,
they're
oui,
crazy.
oui.
If they don't want to be here, then we don't want them here.
Send your complaints and emails to Jacob and Nicholas.
Nick, would you carve out Ottawa though of the province and let everything else go, or the whole thing just goes?
Ottawa's half and half already.
Yeah, suck it off, man.
Just make Winnipeg the capital.
Just remove the bridge in Ottawa that separates the Quebec side. Just destroy all the bridges.
Man, now we're going scorch it. Richard, what's going on here?
I don't know. I wanted to get something from Nicholas, and we went down
Yes.
a very dark hole there.
Wow, so much for the Mammoth Avalanche rivalry. This is getting nastier down there.
What
Just
what
nasty.
Mammoth versus Avalanche rivalry? There's no rivalry.
Oh, okay.
Not
Quit
yet.
trying to force that. There's not going to be. We have our own great rivalries, and it's not with the Mammoth.
Okay, I'm going to bite and digress here, and this is not where what regional rivalry is chomping for Colorado?
Dallas. You think that's not a rivalry? Colorado, Dallas.
I think it's going to become one because of a player. But here's the thing:
It's already a rivalry.
the
It's already
second
been
one,
a rivalry.
the second one of those teams aren't good, it's no longer a rivalry.
It's really good now, so it's a rivalry.
Just like Colorado Detroit used to be a rivalry.
it still is.
Yeah.
Oh, it still is. Ask
Very-
anybody in Detroit, anybody here in Denver, which team
But
do they
to
hate
me-
most? It's
To
the
me, a
other team.
rivalry is when outside the region, people get excited to see it.
Lou,
It needs more
do you,
juice.
do you get excited for a Colorado Detroit game?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. Sorry, no. I I'm not suggesting that it's not for you, but for me, I could care less.
Detroit, Montreal, Detroit, Toronto. I'm
Does
watching
anyone
Detroit,
get
Toronto.
excited for a Detroit game?
That's fair.
Ooh.
I mean, as a Hawks fan, I've gotten far less excited playing Detroit now that we only play them twice a year and both teams are in the crapper. Like that rivalry has really fizzled. I mean, St. Louis has become this generation's rival for Blackhawks fans, not Detroit.
Hmm.
I think there's
All part of the Iser plan.
yeah the famous one. So, but Utah Colorado is going to be a rival. It's going to be a proximity rivalry
Okay, you talk about both teams have to be good.
for the nation to care about it. But
for the nation to care about.
But locally, that's going to be a thing.
Locally,
Why
we
wouldn't it
don't
be?
care about Utah.
Are the Nuggets Jazz a rivalry?
I don't know. I don't really follow basketball.
Okay.
But Colorado, Utah, that's, I mean, they weren't
Who's got
a
a better
rival.
mountain? They're going to fight over that.
Please. They weren't a rival when they were in Arizona. They're not a rival when they're in Utah. It's as simple as that.
But Arizona, Colorado doesn't scream rivalry states.
No.
Colorado,
Why,
Utah
why does Utah, Colorado scream rivalry states?
Because they're more similar and they're close to each other.
I mean, we touch both states, but I guess, yeah, they have bigger mountains than Arizona. That gets colder. They have some skiing.
Because they're two winter states. They're two similar. There's more similarities in how I see Colorado and Utah is more similar than I see Colorado and Arizona.
Well, okay.
That plays
Still
into it.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be relevant to matter, I guess. I don't know.
So, give me a good example of what you think is a national rivalry right now, a national television viewing audience rivalry. Adam.
I think Florida Tampa has become my must-see TV for a lot of hockey fans. I still think when Boston and Montreal play on a Saturday night, the average to above average hockey fan is still into that.
But both teams are garbage right now.
This year was tough, but this year was bad. Yeah.
One of them made the playoffs for 5 games.
Yeah, I think Pittsburgh Rangers people still get super excited for outside of the immediate area with those. The West, it's tougher. I mean, just because of time zone and you know the East Coast draws just the number of bodies and all that. I mean, but you know, Vegas, LA has become, I'd say, a rivalry that people talk about. You hear that there, and yeah, Colorado Dallas is definitely one of the newer rivalries that are coming up, and I think the Rantanen thing's going to make it better. The question is can it become a sustained big time NHL rival?
I feel like it's been a big rival since the early 2000s. Both teams faced each other plenty in the playoffs back then. Colorado tanked for a bit in the early 2010s. They're back to being a dominant team in the West. Dallas is, again, a dominant team in the West. And the whole Mikko Rantanen thing, that is going to fuel more to the rivalry. I agree with that. I think right now it is already a big rivalry.
It's probably Dallas's big rival for sure.
Yeah.
And
until they get Houston there, but you know.
Yeah. Then Colorado's gonna have to take Utah as their rival since Dallas will have their in-state rival. There you go. Thank you for setting that up. You did that. You did it all for me. You just proved my point. Okay. No, I mean I think Toronto, Ottawa is a big rival too. That outside of just that area. There's a lot of hate watching that goes on with that from other parts of the country and south of it. But no, I mean Washington, Carolina should be a huge rivalry. The problem is it's Carolina, which is not a TV draw.
Yeah.
You know, Islanders, Rangers still get the pub.
No, not as much. I the one rivalry there that probably has risen a bit is the Rangers versus Devils. The problem is who cares about the Devils?
Yeah,
I know I don't. The last thing I want to do is be watching a man child on the Devils.
Oh my God.
The biggest problem the NHL has with rivals, honestly, is the power shifting to the West with some really great players and some really good teams and some rivalry. Like having the power in the West just naturally hurts the product because of TV times. And it's always an afterthought. But I mean, the Battle of Alberta has never gotten its due in the States for obvious reasons. But like Vegas, LA have been battling since Las Vegas came in the league, but you can't, starting at 10 o'clock Eastern, the uppities out in the East, the Eastern elites, they don't care about it as much. It's the same reason why UCLA, USC basketball was never as big as Duke, North Carolina in the ESPN era. It's start times. It is, but I think there's some underrated West rivalries. Maybe that's a summer show, Richard. Write it down for a summer show. Put it in the hopper. That's one
Underrated
of those pop-ups in the
West.
summer.
Okay.
Underrated Western rivalries. I think that's a pop-up situation out there. So we can add that to the list and create a big list. You know what you do when you create a big list though? You have to cut it down. And if you want to cut things down, you need to use Manscaped. Manscaped.com, PHN20 the code, and you can have that smooth look that Dr. Lafredo has by using
what is it with you guys?
What? I mean, you were the man that started the Manscaped reads, so we're just giving you due because you're a big fan of them.
Okay.
Adam, I have to say
That
your
works.
transitions have been like on point recently.
I think I've had a good second half of the year with the transitions. I really think so.
Are we going to keep that as a stat for next year?
I mean, I'm perfect on them. I don't.
Transitions
I've had a couple
failed.
bad ones. I've had a couple
Yeah.
stinkers. I've had a couple stinkers.
You forgot last week.
If it didn't happen in the last week, I have forgotten about it. Short memory. Got to have that in sports. We've got some jersey news, which we always like to talk about here. Blackhawks unveiled their 100th anniversary sweater, for their home sweater. It's the same. They just put a 100 patch on it and put some fancy wording on the inside, and okay. But turning back the clock for the St. Louis Blues getting a new the new old sweater, Richard. Is that what you called it?
I put new in quotes.
Okay.
It's new, vintage new, I guess is what I would describe it as. Using their old logo with slightly different colors. To be honest, all kidding aside, it looks sharp. I like it. I like it better than the jersey they wore last year. Definitely well above the Gretzky era jerseys that they used to wear.
Yeesh.
I don't like the clown jersey.
I don't like the clown jersey, and I never really cared for like the dark navy blue that they used to wear, or I guess it was more of a royal blue, whatever. This lighter shade and getting rid of the what was it, the tan border around the note. I think it looks pretty sharp. I think it pops out pretty good.
Yeah, this is their 67 logo that they brought back, essentially. I have always said for the Blues that the lighter blue with the brighter yellow, like the lighter blue is the way the Blues should have always gone. When they wore them in the Winter Classic and brought those back, I mean, people around town freaking love them. And it's probably the most common jersey you see around of all the specialty jerseys they've had is the lighter blue. I think it's great. I think it's smart. I don't like that they went to 3 tertiary marks. I think it's a little much on the tertiary logo side. The fleur-de-lis, okay, that's the St. Louis thing. It's on the city's flag and the influence of all that. They treble cleft it up. The STL that they did, the interlocking STL that's treble cleft inspired, okay. The river music where they're trying to bring the arch because it's St. Louis, so you have to bring the arch and you put the Mississippi below it. I think that one tried too hard. I think the average person is not going to see the arch right away in that logo. And if you have to try too hard, it's probably not right.
Out of those, I feel like the fleur-de-lis and the arch, I feel like they got those two right. The STL, I don't know.
You have
Not
to have an
fan.
interlocking STL in this town as a sports team.
And
Yeah.
I guess
You have
it's a
to.
requirement. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it just doesn't excite me. The other two, I kind of I like quite a bit better than that. The STL.
I like how they did the fleur de lis with the note. I'll
Yeah,
give them credit for that. But yeah,
that
I
one's
don't like the
good.
trumpet. I don't like I think the arch is hard. Like I said, unless you know it, you're not going to pick it out. I don't think it's an obvious thing that they did. But they hit in terms of St. Louis sports, what I've learned living here in 9 years is fleur de lis, interlocking STL, and anything with the arch is like the go-to St. Louis things. Those are your three prevalent needs. And they got them all.
That's what you have.
Yep. Yep. They got them all. But yeah, I think their brand redevelopment is. It's funny when they teased it and said that it was coming, and everybody's like, "Oh, everybody was worried that they were taking the note away, like that they were not going to have the note as the and I'm like, but you guys are called the Blue Notes. Like that'd be like the Rangers not wearing a blue jersey as their primary color, like them switching to red. They're never going to do that. They're the blue shirts. You can't change that. So yeah, it'd be like the Maple Leafs not having a leaf and having like a TOR or something like that. Is like there's certain things you can't get away from, and the blue note I don't think is something you can get away from. So good on them for sticking. But yeah, no, it's amazing. You sell a lot of jerseys, and they think, hey, we should do it, and they did. That was
Yeah.
that was like this. That was like the second biggest news of the week out of St. Louis, though. Did you hear the big news?
The first. What was the first?
Nikki Glazer is going to make their first pick tonight, or reveal their first pick tonight. Yeah, yeah.
What do you
St.
think
Louis
it's going to be?
For the Blues? Oh my God, we're going down the mock. We're going way down the mock draft, huh?
I gotta ask because the team in your area has a first round pick. I gotta wait until the fourth round.
Yeah, I mean, if you're God, you're going to St. Louis. If you're St. Louis, I think you're going. I think you're going forward. I think you're going wing. I mean, that's the depth they need is wing down at 19. I mean, the question here is anybody going off script? Are Schaefer, Misa one to anybody not think they're 1-2? Anyone? Anyone think Frandrell sneaks into the Sharks instead of Misa?
No. This draft is probably the least exciting one I've seen in a few years. There's not a huge name that I am, or like maybe a huge upset or a huge jump I would see in the first round. But that's just me.
What I think is interesting is how center heavy things are. So Schaefer's a D, but then you've got Misa and Frandrell centers who are going to go to teams that drafted centers the last 2 years. So like Misa and Frandrell are going to be the 2 and 3rd overall picks supposedly, and they are potentially going to be second line centers their entire career if the franchises get the perfection they want. With Macklin Celebrini and Connor Bedard as the number 1 centers. I mean, think about that for center depth in the last 3 years of youth. I mean, that's insane.
They'll probably just get shoved to the wing, honestly.
I think Bedard goes to the wing before Frandrell goes to the ring. Frandell, I keep adding an extra R in there. Damn Swedes.
It's hard not to.
Damn
right?
Swedes. Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna have that Draisaitl, Connor McDavid type deal load up situation and move guys around type thing. Hyman. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun down the middle. I think it's fun seeing young centers coming up there, and then like right behind them is the kid from Moncton, who's a center as well, and Roger McQueen's a center, and the kid from Boston College, Hagens is a center.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like 8 of the first 10 picks tonight could be centers.
Yeah.
like almost every forward in the top 15 is a center. It's crazy. It's like the center movement is going on right now. But it's definitely an opposite of a couple years ago where we were D heavy up top.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get a run of centers. So, and we'll see our first decentralized draft.
That's right.
The GMs got what they wanted, and the fans miss out because now we're not going to see guys on the floor trying to make trades. Instead, they're going to have to call each other. Oh, I did too. Everybody but the GMs like the centralized draft. This was a GM run thing. This is what the GMs and the teams wanted. They want war. Now we're going to have cameras in war rooms. It's going to be NFL style. We're going to have cameras, and you're going to see people jump up. You're going to see people on phones, and somebody on phones is going to. Then Elliot Friedman's going to be like, he's talking to this guy. It's just going to happen. Out in LA, too.
Yeah, why are they hosting it in LA if they're doing a decentralized draft? Like, just host it in somewhere cheaper or like somewhere you can do something more with.
TV market.
Expensive.
Because LA applied for it and got approved because they wanted to host it.
Why? I don't want them to host it.
Why do you want to host it?
I want to host it. So I
in
can
Edmonton?
Go yeah.
Nobody wants to go to Edmonton in late June to get there for non-hockey reasons.
No, June's great. The weather's great here.
I would put it in Vegas every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd put it at the Sphere. If you're going to do decentralized and you don't need all the floor space, put it at the Sphere. Every year, put it at the Sphere.
Vegas has so many places you can put it too. Like, there are so many options.
Nope, just the Sphere.
Just the Sphere.
Okay.
If you're going to go decentralized, because you don't need all that floor space, like, why not just grab the Sphere for 2 nights?
Yeah.
Great. Sphere would be awesome.
Yeah.
And the young players that are under 21 would have a great old time. Nothing bad would happen.
No, ever.
Nothing bad would happen. Any of the, when the players get drafted, they should check out LDE Affinity Jewelry for some nice stuff. They can buy their mom some really nice gifts with the contracts these kids are going to sign. Check them out, LDE Affinity Jewelry, linked right from the prohockeynews.com website. Final topic. We got a Hall of Fame class announced for 2025. It's Jumbo Joe going in. How about that? Zdeno Chara, first-year eligible candidate next year. But what do we got going in there, Richard? I lost my list. My computer just backed it up.
Alexander McGinley. Duncan.
Dunk's going in,
Yep. Jennifer Botarelli and Brianna Decker are the players who are going into the Hockey Hall of Fame as the class of 2025. I believe they will officially be announced in November for their entry into the Hall of Fame. Reason I brought this up, of course, every year you have the list of candidates, and I noticed quite a few names on this list, and I was actually not terribly surprised, but I was shocked that not a single goalie got in this year, given the name of goalies that were on the list. You had Tuukka Rask, you had Curtis Joseph, you had Carey Price, you had Pekka Rinne, and Ryan Miller on that list of eligible players. And I figured with those goaltenders in the era that they played, probably one of them would get in.
Carey Price should have gotten in.
Who?
Carey Price, 100%. He's getting in next year. 100%.
He's got to make it. I thought he was going to make it in this year.
Yeah, same.
But I was a little surprised. And maybe it's my Boston bias. I thought Tuukka Rask was going to make it in there as well.
Tuukka Rask didn't have as much international success, I think, as well as he didn't play nearly as long as Carey Price did. And he played for a much better team.
He still, I believe he led the league in goals against average in the time frame that he played. So between, I think, 2007 and 2022, he was the league leader in goals against average
Huh.
at like 2.28.
But how many Vezinas did he win?
I believe he only got the one.
Exactly. So he was only the best goalie once in a 15-year period.
Okay.
Think about that. Only
Yeah.
once. He lost his net in a Stanley Cup run, if I remember correctly.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
His comparables. Gotta love hockey reference for their similarity scores.
Oh no.
His career comparables: Kari Lehtinen, Felix Potvin, Yevgeny Nabokov, Olaf Kolzig.
Isn't Coles again?
Only the goalie who got in last year. Potvinson. Kari Lehtinen? No. Nabokov? No. Below that, Pekka Rinne's there. So, I mean, I'm he's the Hall of Very Good. I'm not sure if he's the Hall of Great.
okay. What about Carey Price? You think he should have gotten in this year, or he also, I believe, only won the Vezina once in the 14-15
Yep,
season.
he won the Vezina once, but he also won the Hart that year.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that. He played longer.
He did, yeah.
200, almost 200 more games, 60 more wins. Didn't win a cup. So I
Never had
mean,
a point per game player on his team as well.
he what?
He never had a point per game player on his team.
Yeah, never won a cup. His comparables. Interesting. His comparables. Cujo, Thomas Vokoun, Pekka Rinne, Bobrovsky, Ryan Miller. Less impressive when you look at the comparables out there. Tuukka with a better resume in the hockey reference, point shares and all that.
I'm of the mind that that Carey Price had more of an impact on hockey, just in general. Whether it's with the youth, within the country of Canada, in comparison to Tuukka and Finland, I'm of the mind that Carey Price's impact was just so great that he has to get in. And also a gold medal, 2 gold medals,
Yeah.
I believe.
38th in his career in goals against average, 29th in wins.
Yeah, but like, have you seen the teams? Like he's hard carried. Boston for the years that Tuukka was playing for them. Don't get me wrong, Tuukka's a fantastic goaltender, but you put Carey Price on that team, he wins the cup so often. He wins more than 1 cup, right?
And Carey Price finishing. Tuukka. I mean, what puts me over the edge? I think Tuukka's 921 save percentage for his career is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 921. That's top 5 in the history of the league.
Yeah. I think it's third?
Fourth.
Fourth.
I have no problem with both of them getting in, to be honest. I mean, I can make an argument either way. It would not anger me if they would get in at all. In this year's class, big fan that Brianna Decker got in. I think that was freaking amazing for U.S.-born player. 2018 gold medalist. I think she won 6 golds at the Worlds. She was in the USA Hockey Hall of Fame last year. Now she's in the Hall of Fame. So I think that's awesome. And she's coaching now. She's at Shattuck, coaching the girls team out there. So it's good. I like seeing the women getting more and more recognized there. So and then Coach Parker getting in as well as a builder. So some good names on this list this year, but I'm starting to feel old. These are players that like Duncan Keith is my favorite Blackhawk from that Blackhawk era. Absolute love Dunk. And who doesn't love Jumbo Joe out there? Right. When I was a kid, man, I loved Mo Gilney's shot. Like now guys that I remember. I think I'm seeing guys play their entire career getting into the Hall of Fame. It's painful, personally painful.
Yep.
It used to be, now guys younger than me are getting in the Hall of Fame, which makes it even more painful. Nick and Jacob will experience this one day. Lou's been there. Lou's like telling me to get off his lawn with that statement. I get it.
Hold my beer.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Richard, we have no picks.
We have no picks.
I don't know how to end a show. How do we do this? How do we wrap this up?
I think we go to parting thoughts.
God, okay. Hey, how about let's start with the intern. The intern gets to part with what we don't have any Stanley Cup facts. We don't have what do you do now?
Who says I don't have Stanley Cup facts?
Well, they're not appropriate. Got a draft fact?
I don't, unfortunately.
Well, this is be prepared, Mr. You're supposed to be prepared. This is a lesson.
Apologies,
Pacing the intern.
Sir Adam.
Yes. There we go. Just knighted me.
Yeah.
Thank you. What do you got, Nick? Come on.
Say
something.
Sorry. The
We can-
Stanley Cup isn't only for men. 17 women have had their names inscribed on the cup. The first was Margaret Norris, who was the president of the Detroit Red Wings for their 54-55 season victory. Sonia Skerfield is the only Canadian woman to have her name inscribed. She was the co-owner of the 88-89 championship Calgary Flames.
And you know what's even also famous about Margaret Norris? That's where the
Norris Trophy.
Norris
Yeah.
Trophy.
yeah, she's it's all because of her. Just kidding. It's Marguerite, by the way, just to correct you right there, young buck. Marguerite Norris. There's an I in that name.
Would you guys like a fun fact about the draft?
Sure.
Oh, Jacob one-upping the intern.
The snarky Canadian
no, he
coming
bought me
over
time.
the top of the Eastern Canadian.
He
I love
bought
it.
me time. He bought me time. Okay.
Oh, got it.
Here's a fun fact. Their draft picks from 23rd to 32nd overall are considered the death zone for picks because they often do not pan out. Only 40% of players in that range pan out to the NHL.
Yep.
To be NHL regulars. And I have one more if you'd like.
Go ahead,
on.
because that one wasn't very much fun.
Yeah. One of the worst drafts of 2-year stretches of drafts are from the Anaheim Ducks. In 2006 and 2007, they failed to land a single player that played more than 5 games in the first 5 rounds.
It's a problem. That's that's a problem.
That was their heyday too.
Yeah. So they were picking late, but not a single one of them made the roster basically.
And now look where they are.
Rebuild mode.
Troy Terry's team and building around him.
You trade Troy Terry for another New York Ranger.
I mean, they moved on from Zegras, which by the way, side note, Zegras is not Flyer-esque.
No,
I don't like it.
no,
It's not the right spot.
no, not at all.
I mean, orange, we just went from orange to orange, but I didn't think flyery was. I'm glad you agree, Lou. Yeah, it was like, It seems odd to me.
He's going to get lost in that lineup.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem. Yeah, I don't. It didn't seem like the right landing spot.
No.
Well, he's back with his best friend, Jamie Drysdale.
Okay, so there's that. He's flyery. I don't think. Yeah. Richard.
Yep. Parting thought. Yeah, I'm just wishing that Colorado's weather would just chill for a bit, and not just because of the hot temperatures that we've had, but we've had some severe storms rolling through here, knocked over one of our trees, and if it's not that, it's been near 100 or over 100 the other days. So If you could just calm down Colorado weather, like give me something that's not one of those extremes, I would appreciate it because I still have a lot of lawn work to do with that tree down and all. I would appreciate it, Colorado.
Public service announcement brought to you by whoever.
Yeah.
The soft sounds of Richard Cote.
I was going to save my rant for why Utah's not a rival, but yeah, we got that out of the way early.
Okay. Lou,
Yes.
you got any thoughts that are final?
Yeah. So we waited. Pro Hockey News was negotiating and working with a web development team that was hired through our IT support. And for 18 months, we were going back and forth. And after 18 months, they did a spectacular job of redoing the site. They changed the background from white to black. I thought they would have gotten a better joke, a better laugh, but apparently not.
I thought there was more. I was waiting.
So we have since developed a really terrific relationship with the Humber Hawks of Toronto, Canada. Nicholas being one of them, Luca the other. M. Fabry is now new to us for the summer, and Reagan Montague is also with us over the summer. But we have also brought on two individuals from Humber College to help with web development, and we are expecting a new design within the next 6 weeks, as opposed to 18 months and a switch from white to black. So I don't know what the cheer is in Humber for Go Hawks Go or whatever it is, but I'm there with Humber. So thanks to Nicholas for coming on board and helping us here. But I don't know what's going on up there in Toronto, but we're 6 for 6 for having really talented people coming out of that department.
Go Toronto. 6 for 6 in Toronto and 0 for 1 in Western Canada for bringing on talent.
Do you even know where Edmonton is?
It's in the mountain. North of us. In the mountainous region. It's in the mountainous time zone. Yes.
Wow. Okay, back to you.
I just want to thank everybody for listening again in another good season. We've had fun. Lonnie couldn't join us today, but he's definitely a part of it. You know, I think the most fun of it when you tune in every week with the two different lines, like we like to call it, that are they're so different shows, but they're still exactly what PHN is all about. And Richard, you have really taken over the last 2 years of keeping this ship from sinking. And even when it sinks, it's fun.
Oh, it is.
You know, we pop back up. We like bobbers, just pop back up. But you know, all the organization you do and the rundowns and getting us on time and pressing the record button and you know, all that good stuff. I guess Nick's done some of that now. You know, later in this year, but it's really you, Richard. I mean, you are the glue that holds these lines together. So my parting shot is a thank you to you, and for the tens of thousands of dollars you make doing this, and that new mansion that you built there in Aurora. So,
excuse me?
Oh.
What was that?
Did you just negotiate a new contract for me? I appreciate it.
I thought that was your contract. I can't believe you're not getting paid. Okay, well, you need a new agent.
All of a sudden, I'm wondering about what's going on. So I already had one guy try and steal all our money.
Yeah. Well, but the most important thing about Richard, he's the only one that already has a succession plan that he's building in place. Because we know that the future producer is already close to being better than Richard. So just everything. Yeah, 2 more seasons, and I think we turn this over to him.
Yeah, because if you'll all recall, do you remember In the Crease?
Yes, of course I do.
Their succession plan was Phil Kamensky going in and unplugging the servers.
Yeah,
on a Saturday morning.
Well, be careful. Phil can unplug the servers too if you let him.
Yeah,
for a whole different reason.
Yeah.
But No, for all those that tune in, I mean, our stats keep going up. We appreciate that. Give us the thumbs up, give us the like. We've added video at times this year on the different socials and the YouTubes and the whatnot. And I know we're going to keep growing this, and a couple of us old farts are trying to stay young and keep up with the new stuff. But appreciate everybody listening, writing, reading, all that. ProHockeyNews.com will have all your information, draft, summer news, international hockey. That'll still go on, so don't forget about that. And I'm sure we'll have some pop-up pods in the summer because we'll get bored of not talking to each other on video and audio and come up with a topic that we'll have to argue about. Because that's what the summer is. We're going to pick a topic that we're all going to argue about.
Oh, yeah.
Please.
There you go. So keep subscribed, and we'll pop up throughout the summer. And keep following ProHockeyNews.com for all the off-season news. But thanks to Lonnie, Nick the intern, the snarky Canadian, Jake, Dr. Lou Lafredo, who keeps all this funded and going, and we appreciate all the hard work and the hours that he puts in. And Richard, thank you for double shifting every week and keeping the pod as cool as it is. This is Adam Minnick signing off for this season's edition of the Pro Hockey News Podcast.